Welcome to this week's NCPreps show. As you can see, we only got 4 of us here. Chris may pop in later. He has a couple meetings. So we got me, Dina, Chelsea, and Tally here. We're going to run down some basketball and football news and a couple of interviews that we have. So first, we'll hop into basketball. We had NCAA state championships this past Saturday. And then last night we had the NCHSAA fourth round of the playoffs. Regionals winners went to the state championship. So there were some big games. On Saturday, I went to Carmel Christian versus Cannon, where Cannon won the 4A state championship for private schools. And then I've hit 2 public schools lately, North Mech versus South Mech, Wilson Prep versus Riverside Martin. So have any of y'all been to any games? And if so, what type of news have y'all seen?
I've not been to games. Been following, being like a scoreboard operator on these days, Mondays and Wednesdays, and Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So there's been a lot of great games and some good matchups coming up Saturday. As you know, the tournament's going to be held for the first time in a long time, not at the college campuses of UNC and NC State. They're going to be held in Randolph County at Wheatmore High School in Providence Grove. The 1A and 4A boys and girls will be at Providence Grove, and the 2A and 3A at Wheatmore. So a lot of good basketball action coming your way Saturday.
Yes, and this past Saturday, we actually had private schools play their state championships in the NCISAA, where Victory Christian won a state championship for 1A. The Burlington School won the state championship for 2A. Asheville Christian won the state championship for 3A. And then I saw Cannon School get a big upset over Carmel Christian to win on Carmel Christian's home court on Saturday. So Chelsea and Tally, what have y'all seen basketball-wise? I know y'all follow basketball a little bit. So there's been anything that stuck out to y'all?
No, I've just been watching the live streams. I haven't been able to make it out to a game in a while.
Yeah, I also haven't made it to a game. I've been with football, so I haven't been much into basketball lately.
Well, if Brianna was here,
mentioned that she's starting lacrosse, so we got all these sports like intermingling between all this. So we're just 2021 has started off in a big maze of sports fanatic. I was telling somebody the other day, I'm like, I'm trying to stay. I'm busy. I've got basketball playoffs going on, and now we're starting high school football. Mm-hmm. I've heard softball probably is starting. Brianna said she's got softball tryouts. Now Chelsea says she's got lacrosse. Hallie, are you doing anything? Are you going to play softball or anything?
Softball right now.
Okay.
last day of trials was today, and our first game will be in about 2 weeks. So right into the season. I've never played softball at the same time as football is going on. It's for school softball, but
It's crazy. It seems like we have like 10 sports going on at the same time because isn't wrestling going on right now too? I don't know.
yeah. And then it's also weird because baseball is like a month after softball, and they're usually like hand in hand, like same games and everything.
Yeah. So, I think I have a basketball interview from when I went to the Wilson Prep game last night. A very cool team. They actually only played 4 regular season games due to almost everyone in their conference opted out of the season, so they had to find a lot of games out of conference. So they only played 4 games, lost 2 of them, but they still technically won their conference, and they've gone on a state championship run, a playoff run to go to the state championship. So I talked to their top player, Nazir Blackson, last night. They're also coached by former Harlem Globetrotter Anthony Atkinson. So it's a pretty cool team, and it's the first time they've ever been to a state championship for sure. So pretty cool atmosphere, and it was a pretty good interview. We're here with Nazir Blackson after they just got a huge win to win the Eastern Regionals and the NCHSA 1A. Nazir, talk about some of the keys to the game that were able to get y'all the win.
Some of the keys, the defense, we locked in. When we got our stuff together at the halftime, we just locked in and came back right. We had to come back. We weren't ready. We weren't mentally prepared at the beginning.
Yeah. This team is very special. Only played 4 regular season games. Talk about the chemistry in this team that has been able to keep y'all not getting down on each other and just having good team chemistry.
Everybody know each other. Like everybody pretty close. So some people grew up playing together, already had chemistry, and everybody just got close from the get go. Really.
Yeah.
We had to take time to get it right because in the beginning of the year we was all there. Now when we came back from quarantine and everything, we just came back ready to play.
Yeah, you guys have one of the most unique coaches in North Carolina, Anthony Atkinson, former pro basketball player. Talk about how great of a coach he's been to you, and just talk about the role he has in your life.
Coach Aaron, he been coaching me since I was 9th grade. My first ever AAU coach, the first coach that ever believed in me. So really, it's like he really just the best coach I ever seen. Really the best coach in the game. Really the best coach in North Carolina and everything.
Yeah. You guys play Lincoln Charter on Saturday, primetime state championship. Talk about some of the things you're excited to look forward to and some things that you guys can improve on and make sure you guys get another win.
I'm just excited to go there, be in that type of atmosphere. That's really what I dream about this year. Really, some things we need to get right is just slow starts. Like early we got to a slow start. We get it right by Saturday. That'll be good. Everything will be good by then.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and good luck Saturday.
Thanks.
Awesome. So, like I mentioned, they're playing Lincoln Charter on Saturday. 2A is Farmville Central versus Hendersonville. 3A is Weddington versus Northwood. And then 4A is Ardrey-Kell versus Millbrook. So, before we go to football, just if anybody has anything to say about those 4 games, what matchups you're really liking there, what you're excited to see on Saturday.
I'm super excited to see Millbrook in there. Just being a team from my conference in the Cap 7, that's what we'll watch them go. And I think this is probably the first time they did the state championship in 10 years.
A long time. Yeah, it's been a pretty long time.
It's a big Charlotte versus Raleigh matchup with Ardrey-Kell. Coach Kraft, I actually went to college with him back in our Wing It days. So I'm actually kind of hoping Coach Kraft can win him a state championship. Now, Jack, let's not forget the ladies. We need to mention the ladies state championships as well, because we've got some good matchup. And I think Farmville Central's going for the double state championship.
Farmville is going for the double. Northwoods girls got knocked out. I know 4A is Gardner Magnet versus Vance. And
Carson and Ashboro for 3A.
I know 1A is Princeton versus
Murphy.
Versus Murphy. Yeah. So those are the 4. Shelby's
playing Barnville Central, so that's the other one. So yeah, there's a lot of games. Like I said, 1A and 4A is at Providence Grove. 2A and 3A are in Wheatmore.
Chris is watching and he says we're doing a good job. So there we go. We'll move it over to football just for Chris, since Chris is super excited about football season. So football, we had our first week of games last week. We're moving into the second week. I haven't fully shifted over to football, so I haven't been able to keep up that much about it. So Dina, just talk about some of the top storylines we had this past week, some of the top scores, big performances, stuff like that.
Well, the weather affected a lot of things. A lot of schools moved up their games to Thursday, and I think a lot of other schools kind of wish they could have, but some situations were like some of the schools that were still playing basketball in the playoffs, they couldn't move their games up to Thursday, and then they couldn't move them to Saturday because of the games on Saturday. So I had a lot of. I told Chris, I was like, when we have bad weather and rain, it's like a nightmare for us trying to catch up with who played and when they reschedule and everything. So we had a good dose of football on Thursday night, a good dose on Friday night. The rain did come in and everything, but as far as top games, I mean, you gotta look at Havelock's big win over Northeastern. They're making a statement out there. They're wanting to make another state championship run out in the East, and the big game in Charlotte between Mallard Creek and Vance was all eyes on that game. And our I have an interview with Vance running back Dalen Smothers a little bit later in the show. He had a really good game, and got to give out some shout outs to some schools that don't have a lot of winning luck. Chatham Central, they beat Albemarle. And
Wow.
anybody that follows high school football knows that was a complete shocker, considering Albemarle is not nearly the program it once was, but Chatham Central, they probably got beat 70 and 80 to nothing a lot of times by those schools, Albemarle and everything. But they got some revenge, and then Smithfield Selma, they got a big win. So I'm gonna give my congrats to some of those teams that have fallen on the wrong end of the score several times, but they started off this spring season with a win.
Yeah, I'll add to that list with Spring Creek, got a win over Lakewood. Spring Creek also doesn't usually get a lot of wins, so that's a good start for them. So Chelsea, Tally, talk about Chelsea down in Raleigh, Tally around the Charlotte area. Talk about some of the game. If you were able to go to a game, what game did you go to, and what scores did you see?
Yeah, so I went to the A.L. Brown Northwest Cabarrus game. We won, I think it was 51-19 was the final score. So we won that one. But I saw where who won. Saw where Grimsley beat Cox Mill 27-0, shut them out. So those are the three that I followed.
Yeah. Chelsea, what did you see in Raleigh?
I haven't been to a game yet, but Sanderson, my home team last week, they beat Inlow 46-12, I think. Hopefully Friday there's a home game against Leesville, which might be a bit of a mismatch, but still be fun to go out there and report the score.
Yeah. And Dina, here's a shocker for traditional football. Princeton beat East Duplin, I think on Saturday. I think that game wasn't on Friday. It was either on Monday or Saturday, but that was pretty shocking. And then Goldsboro beat Northside Jacksonville in overtime. So those were two scores around me that were pretty interesting. Some games.
One game that we mentioned last week, Chris was going to head up to Pisgah and watch that annual Haywood County battle between Tuscola and Pisgah. And the weather affected him. He got about halfway and decided he was going to turn around.
Mhm.
But that game is so huge for that community, and we talked about it last week, the split the pot game, and it's gotten so big you can buy your tickets online. It's almost like the lottery. They still had a good turnout on that, and with things the way they are now, that was a good fundraiser for their school. Even though they didn't have the crowds that they're used to, it was still a good money maker for all the sports programs. I believe it was at Pisgah this year, so Pisgah, they got the cash in on that big game and the proceeds of it. So, but week two's coming up, and I'm sure we got some great matchups. I believe one of the top ones is Charlotte Catholic and Weddington. So
Ooh.
that is going to be interesting.
Yeah. And we actually dropped our week 2 rankings. So 4A, I'll just list the top 10. Go from 10 to 1 goes Glenn, Myers Park, Hickory Ridge, Huff, Grimsley, Wake Forest, Butler, Cardinal Gibbons, 2 Richmond, and then Vance at 1 after they got their big win. Talk about if there's a team in 4A that you think that could possibly move into that top 10 with a big second week or third week.
Well, when Chris does these rankings, I know how he feels sometimes. Can't never make everybody happy. You put out these rankings and it's automatic. Like, what about us? What about us? I don't know. I don't have them right on top of the list, but I think Davie County may surprise some folks.
Yeah.
Up in Mocksville, they got a real good running back and the Carney kid and stuff. And not sure. I think maybe their quarterback. I don't know if he early enrolled. If he's back, Nate Hampton, I believe.
Yeah.
He's supposed to. I believe he's going to Liberty. So they got some talent there. So I don't know if they're in the top 20 of Chris's list, but they play in that tough conference up there with West Forsyth and all those Forsyth schools. So I'm going to keep my eye on the War Eagles.
Yeah, so I would say another big score with some 4A schools was J.H. Rose beat the brakes off New Bern, which I think may have been a little bit surprising to a couple of people. So New Bern has a big game, I think, coming up. Against DH. Well, actually, DH Conley's game got postponed because of COVID, but we'll see how New Bern bounces back after that big game. 3A, at 10, we have Eastern Elements, then A.L. Brown, Cleveland, Crest, Kings Mountain, J.H. Rose, Mount Tabor, Weddington, Charlotte Catholic, and Havelock. Tally, you got to see A.L. Brown play in person at your school. Talk about some of the strengths of the team and some of the best players that they have.
I would say they played well all around. Held them pretty well, held Northwest pretty well. Some of the best players I saw, of course, you got Cameron Chrome at quarterback. Torrin Wright played really well on offensive line. Luke Stone, Nathan Baucom did really well. Amarion Plummer, I think it was like an 80-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. I actually got to record that, so that was awesome. And I was on the sideline the entire time. It's a different world down there. That was a first for me. But yeah, I think they played really well all the way around. And I actually got made fun of on one of my interviews because Nathan Baucom told me that they didn't think anybody in the conference would be competition except Cox Mill. But I'm excited to see if that's true for him. And I'll hold him to that.
All right. Well,
that was interesting. So you were on the sidelines, like sideline reporter now. Me, I've been on the sidelines 20 plus years. It's a different perspective, isn't it?
It is. I've been to so many A.L. Brown games since every game since I was born. I can probably count on my fingers the amount I haven't been to. but actually being down there on the field, like completely different than sitting up in the stands.
Just be careful when they start towards the sidelines.
Yes, back away. I had to learn that real quick. Yeah, I had to learn that real quick.
It was raining at I went to the Richlands game where they beat Trask pretty bad, and I brought my camera and it was raining, so like I had to get I was like hiding it under my jacket the whole time, getting a towel, and there was one time I was trying to take pictures and I was like taking pictures and I saw they started running to me and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And you know, there's just that instinct that I'm a coach's son, so I grew up on the sidelines. I have that instinct of like, you know, when you get out of the way. So
when you see, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, go say what you're gonna say.
I was saying when you have that camera in your hand, it seems like it's a couple of seconds behind, and they're already at you by the time you see it.
Yeah,
I know. Havelock, you know, I mentioned it earlier, had that big win at Northeastern, and Chris leapfrogged Weddington and Charlotte Catholic, so he's made a few people mad online and everything. But hey, I mean, that was an impressive win on the road. Northeastern has a very good football program up there. Coach Moore and Coach Wooten and the Rams behind Camaro Edmonds, they just ran right over Northeastern. So
yeah,
I think 3A is a very, very tough division, and there's a lot of stout teams, and it's gonna be fun seeing who rises up.
yeah. It's definitely gonna be interesting.
You got Kings Mountain and Crest going to be playing here shortly, and so it's going to be fun.
Yeah. So I was gonna say let's go to Deenan's interview this past week with the running back at Vance, and then also do Tally's interview, and then we'll talk about 2A and 1A, and then we'll hit our last interview. How does that sound?
It's fine.
Good.
All right.
Here with 2023 running back Dalen Smothers of Vance High School in Charlotte. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing really good. First off, I'm going to start off asking you how it finally felt to play a game. You were a member of the state championship team that played back in 2019 in December, so it was going on 15 months since you guys have been on the field. So how did it feel finally getting on the field?
Well, I didn't know it was 15 months, but it feels honestly wonderful and relieving. You know, just had to like stay ready, so we had to get ready, not knowing when we was gonna be able to play again. So it just honestly, I'm just happy to play again.
Well, you guys started off the season really a lot of expectations. A lot of people think you guys got an excellent chance to repeat. And you started off the season with your big rival in Charlotte, Mallard Creek, the championship pedigree they have, just two of the best teams in the whole state. And you guys came out with a 27-7 win. Explain, the atmosphere and just getting out there playing against one of your biggest rivals.
The main thing was not looking at it as a rivalry, really attacking it like any other game and just focus on doing what we got to do, what we've been working on, and executing what we need to do to win the game. And really, it just felt good. The atmosphere was honestly different, because they wasn't allowing fans and, well, a certain amount for the home team. And so it was more quiet than usual, but really just had to take care of business. And a lot of people really didn't show up because of the rain, but it just felt good to be back and just handle business. And on the season opener, just let a statement be known and let everybody know that we're trying to work for that back-to-back.
Personally, you had a really good game, 19 carries, 187 yards, and a couple of touchdowns in the rain. So impressive performance. I know you got some shout outs probably to your O-line and your receivers and everyone blocking for you. So any comments on that performance?
It was just me trying to do whatever I needed to do for us to win the game. The offensive line, yes, a big shout out to them. They had a wonderful game, opening up holes and cutback lanes for me to slip through, and my receivers blocking on the outsides. Like one of my receivers came to me, Sanga Yates, and said, I ain't never been more excited to block for somebody. Like, that's the energy we need from everybody. Like, everybody has that energy and block for each other and want to see each other, like, eat and have, wonderful games and do stuff for us all to be in a position to win the game. So we all got an energy that in the same goals. So it's easy to get it done when you're around guys like that want to block and help you. Like, just whatever it takes. Like, we're all one. We're a family.
Of course, being in Charlotte in a highly anticipated game, a lot of eyes on that game. I know you're on college radars already. Just name a couple of schools that you've been hearing from recruiting wise, and what things do you like about them?
What I heard about, I got offered from Virginia Tech my freshman year, and it's a lot of love. They show a lot of love. I love Virginia Tech, and I've been hearing from Chapel Hill lately, and Notre Dame been mailing me. South Carolina. It's been on Michigan State. It's a list. I can't remember them all, but there's been a couple schools that have reached out and and show love. But
you keep having games like that, you're gonna keep your 2023. You're just starting out in the recruiting game, so you got a lot of time, and these coaches teams are going to be really hitting you up. Vance is known for having some outstanding kids, and your former teammate Power Eccles is up there at UNC. So we're going to focus a little bit on UNC. What are your thoughts about what Carolina's been doing the last couple of years with Coach Brown?
I've been thinking their recruiting process has been great. Like a lot of North Carolina kids been staying in North Carolina and going there. Like when Power switched over, I thought it was a great move for them. Like really, North Carolina's doing what they got to do recruiting-wise. They're getting a lot of great talent up there. So honestly, I love it.
Your next game has been moved to, I believe, Saturday. You guys have Hopewell. And Hopewell, they played Huff, another really good team in your conference. They kind of held them down. So what are you looking forward to playing the Titans this weekend?
Really just looking for, like, approach it how we did last week, same energy. Just come out there looking for the win and executing everything like we should, like they did. I heard about that. Like their defense been tougher lately against Huff, and Huff usually has a good offense, a great offense, and we just really got to go out there and play ball and try to handle what we need to handle to win that game. So we're just sitting here prepping. We're having like great practices and trying to get everything done so we can leave out of the win.
Awesome. That was a great interview. I like how you sneaked in there that question there for UNC. It sounds like if he's only 23 and he's getting all those stats, he must be a pretty special player.
Well, he said he got this offer from Virginia Tech and as a freshman. So these kids are starting to get offers really early, and it's good to see a kid starting to get noticed at that early age.
Yeah. So the next interview we have from Tally. Tell us who you talked to and why you wanted to talk to them.
Yeah, so I spoke to Kaylin Belfield. She is a 2022 outfielder committed to Lipscomb University. And so I went with softball this week because I'm super excited about the start of the season. But I played with Kaylin. I played against Kaylin. She's a force to be reckoned with. Slapper, super quick. And I have a lot of faith in her in center field. So just wanted to hear from her.
Awesome.
I'm here with Kaylin Belfield, 2022 outfield and shortstop from A.L. Brown High School. She also plays with Stars National Belfield. Kaylin, what are your thoughts about the start of the season? What are you excited for, and what's going to be different?
I'm really excited to be out here with the team and everything. I think it's going to be a total blast, and still getting to be able to play since last year was so short is going to be really nice.
What are some of your individual goals for this season?
I think some of my individual goals is that I want to, this is a goal that I have every year, is at least get 40 steals. I also plan to bat over 500. I also It's a little joke kind of thing, just at least hit 1 home run.
Mine too.
So yeah.
What are some of the team goals you have for this season?
Some of the team goals, I believe, is just communication. That's a big part of the game anyway, so I mean, we're working on that right now, and I believe that our team's gotten stronger through that.
Okay, so I know that you're one of the big leaders on this team. I mean, I see you out there like working with the outfielders whenever you're still playing shortstop and everything. What other ways do you plan to be a leader on this team?
Again, with communication. I also plan with just talking in the middle of pitches, keeping people up when they're down, because I know the sport's hard and there's a lot of failure. So just keeping your head up during the entire game is an important thing.
Yeah. What are you most excited for this season?
Oh man, what I'm most excited for is our. Throughout my years here, we've had a little rival with Central.
Mm-hmm.
That's always such a fun game to play with and have great competition. They're a great team as well.
Who is your biggest role model and why?
Whew, that's a good question. My biggest role model has got to be
We can come back to it.
Okay.
So this season we moved you from center to shortstop. What are your thoughts on that? How are you feeling? How do you think you're doing?
Well, I do know it's new terrain, so I've been taking a while to adjust a little bit, but it's been a fun experience, and just learning this new position is really nice.
Okay. What is it like playing during COVID? What's some of the rules and stuff you're having to follow?
I think a challenge would be just wearing the mask and everything, and now I'm wearing a mouth guard, so it's gonna be weird trying to adjust everything, but I mean, I feel like we can all adjust and just work with it, even though we still get to play.
What is one of your favorite memories playing softball?
One of my favorite memories is when we got to play in California. We got to play at the stadium, and actually no, let me do that. Okay, so my favorite memory was when we got to when my travel team and we got to play in Melbourne, Florida, in the USSSA championship. We got to play in the stadium, and it was even live recorded, and it was on Facebook. I feel like that experience was super fun. I was even on a good hitting day, so that was definitely very fun.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And so you recently committed to Lipscomb. We just want to know, what made you choose Lipscomb?
Honestly, it was just basically checking off all the boxes. My family and I were a big Christian family, and that was one of the priorities. I feel like the schools will help me with my faith and everything. I also believe that I just love the coaches too. They're amazing, and I got to watch one of their practices, and I just saw the team chemistry, and they all just looked like they were having fun.
Perfect. What's something that sets you apart as an athlete on the field?
I think something that sets me apart is my determination and competitiveness. I like to win, and my determination, and I just love to work hard, and I like to make everybody around me better.
Okay, my last question for you is, what's something that people may not know about you, like a hidden talent or hobby that they wouldn't know just by looking at you on the field?
Just by looking at me, sometimes I like to dance. I dance a lot in my room, so I'm not the greatest dancer in the world either. But if you put on a good song, I will start dancing. So
perfect. Okay, well, thank you so much for talking with us today, and best of luck to you this season.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. And one of your questions was, what are you most looking forward to this season? And it's also your last softball season. So what is something you're looking forward to in your senior season?
I'm going to have to agree with Kaylin. Playing Central Cabarrus. A.L. Brown's rivalry is Concord for every other school, but for every other sport, excuse me. But Central, we played them 5 times my sophomore year. It was crazy. We beat them 1 time, but they went on to play in the state championship. So that's always a school that I really look forward to playing, and it's always a super competitive game.
Senior Did you say Central Cabarrus?
Yes.
Central. Yeah, they've always had a very, very good softball program.
Yes, they have.
I can remember they had some super teams.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so we've saved the best for last. Chelsea, your interview. You've been pretty quiet down there, so you better have saved something good for us.
Yeah, so for Sanderson, I interviewed 2022 wide receiver Levi Matthews, who's just an incredible athlete. Tried varsity sport, also playing varsity basketball and track. And also for Sanderson football, Jabril McNeil, who I interviewed one of the first weeks, he originally planned to not play his senior season of football, but is now in the games. So that's just a huge, I guess, upgrade for Sanderson. And then another thing, just in Wake County in general, after North Carolina announced a 30% outdoor stadium capacity, took Wake County a while to confirm that they were going to do that, and they finally did. So that's something I asked Levi about, and he gave his word on.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and get right to the interview.
I'm Chelsea Sipple from NCPreps, and this week for my segment, The Rundown by Chelsea Sipple, I interviewed varsity wide receiver Levi Matthews from Sanderson High School. Levi is a triple sport varsity athlete, and this week I asked him how all three of those sports come into play with football and what we can expect from him this season. Coming off last week with a win against Enloe, 46-12, how does that set the tone for the rest of the football season?
Starting the season with a win over Enloe was a huge momentum booster. It's always big to win the season opener on the road, and the mentality is just positive, staying focused. It doesn't change. Each week we got to come prepared, and it's a huge week against Leesville this week.
Next off, with also playing varsity basketball and running track, how do those two sports help with football, and what are the challenges of playing three sports?
Also, playing basketball and running track comes with huge benefits, just staying in shape, staying in condition year-round, and just getting your body to where it wants to be. Challenges might be just having sports every day, coming home to have lots of homework, and time management might be one of the biggest challenges of being a multi-sport athlete.
Now coming into your upperclassmen year at Sanderson, what are some goals you have for yourself this football season and for the Sanderson team?
Coming into my junior year here at Sanderson for football, some goals I have set for myself is to improve my game, not only to improve it for my own benefits, but for the team's benefits so we could reach the goals we want to achieve this season.
Next is, what do you look forward to this football season, and what is the expectation for Sanderson football?
What I look forward to the most this football season is the growth and potential we have as a team. We've gotten used to the new coaching staff. We're familiar around each other. Our team chemistry is there, and what our expectation is for Sanderson football is to make the playoffs just like any other team.
Finally, since Wake County has announced that they will allow more fans with a 30% capacity rule, how does that change how games were expected to go, and what do you look forward to with fans?
The 30% outdoor capacity rule is definitely a game changer, considering that only parents could go. It was a limited amount of people, but it's different from last year just because there's COVID now. Can't have as many people there, but I look forward to it, and I'm looking forward to playing this week.
Those were all the questions I had for this week's segment. Thank you so much to Levi for giving some insight on this upcoming football season, and thank you for watching The Rundown by Chelsea Sipple.
Awesome. All right. Well, it's been about a 45-minute show, so I think it's time we start to wrap it up. Dina, give us your last words and what we're looking forward to for this next week of sports.
Well, we got a field weekend, full weekend with football and basketball. And then, with basketball wrapping up, guess we'll start some, I don't know, you usually call them spring sports, but I don't know what you call them now. I mean, our fall sports are playing in the spring, and so we'll just call them multi sports going on. And like y'all said, 30%, maybe it's going in a positive direction. maybe it'll keep going that way, and for long we could. My wish is everything would be okay, and we could have everything opened up, and actually see a state championship in the
College.
under normal circumstances and stuff. So, and it's hard to think that a state championship in football will be played in May. But that's the way it is. So, guys, y'all got any closing comments?
I don't. It was a great show, and I'm excited for this week, and hopefully I'll be able to get into those basketball games.
Well,
Yeah.
we've had a good show tonight. Hey, Chris had other obligations, and Brianna thinks she was at some kind of team or family dinner or something that she had to go to. We hate that both of them couldn't be on, but I appreciate the three of you guys being on, and we had a great show. So until next week,
Yes, ma'am.
come
I'll
back
see.
and
Yep.
come join the message boards on NCPreps. Follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram pages are really growing. I mean, they were really full yesterday with all the or Saturday with all the
Ranking.
the rankings and all
Whenever we
the
post
little,
rankings, people are always gonna check out the page. We're up to like almost 1,200, I think. So it's growing. So it's awesome. So thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. We'll be back next week on Wednesday night. Hopefully we'll have Chris with us so he can give us his view on the second week of high school football. And we will catch y'all next Wednesday night. Thank you.
Thank y'all.